Welcome to Secrets of the Haunted Blackwood Estate. While Blackwood Manor, its family, Lord Ambrose, and the curse are fictional creations for this story that's chill of the unknown, the heavy air in sorrowful places, the unsettling thought of a house soaking up secrets. Those sensations are very real. The Harper story is a fictional dive into ordinary lives, meeting extraordinary evil, inspired by classic haunted house tales. Now, let's step into the shadows. Some houses are just brick and mortar. Others, they say, are built from secrets, steeped in bygone sorrows. Blackwood Manor was one of these. Whispers said its very stones were stained by a history so dark, it bled into the present. What if your dream home became not a sanctuary, but a vessel of ancient malice, patiently waiting for new souls to ensnare? Blackwood Manor, they whispered, was never meant for the living. Picture it. A colossal Victorian silhouette staining the rugged English countryside, its dark windows like empty eyes, timeless sentinels of its horrors. For centuries, the decaying estate fueled grim fascination with macabre tales, not charming campfire stories, but whispers of a cruel aristocrat who chased forbidden power through ancient rituals. Stories circulated of sudden disappearances, eerie night sounds, and a chilling curse clinging to the Blackwood name and the manor itself, like a sickness. Local villagers, whose families had lived in its shadow for generations, spoke of its history in hushed, fearful tones. Often after a pint at the pub, the name always met with a shiver was Lord Ambrose Blackwood, the manor's infamous patriarch, known for arrogance and cruelty. Legends said his lust for power and riches led him to a terrifying pact with an unspeakable entity. He gained his desires by trading his soul, but the price, as it always is, in such dark bargains, was devastating, its cruel toll reaching far beyond him. Misfortune stalked his family line like a grim shadow. His descendants suffered horrors, unexplained, gruesome death, creeping madness that shattered families, unsolved murders. Over decades, Blackwood Manor changed from a home to a cold, silent monument of dread. The Blackwood lineage withered, vanishing as if devoured by the darkness their ancestor invited. Only the house remained, and the restless, resentful spirits rumored to be trapped within its decaying halls, their spectral chains rattling. Years bled into decades. Blackwood Manor stood silent, forsaken, a decaying testament to its tragic past. Its grand halls echoed only with wind sighing through broken panes, and, some whispered, the memories of souls lost in its grasp. The gardens ran wild, a tangled mockery of their former beauty. But Blackwood Manor's saga wasn't over. It was merely dormant, biding its time. Then, one crisp autumn, amidst falling crimson and gold leaves, the Harper family arrived. Arthur, a pragmatic architect drawn to historic buildings. His wife Eleanor, an artist captivated by the manor's tragic allure. And their children, James, a cynical teen, and 9-year-old Lily, sensitive and imaginative. They wanted a fresh start, a grand project, an escape from city noise. Blackwood Manor, despite its decay, seemed to offer it all. Its grounds and architecture, a siren song to Arthur's ambition and Eleanor's romanticism. Warnings came, of course. The estate agent was reticent, locals evasive. They heard whispers of cursed and haunted, but Arthur and Eleanor, modern and rational, dismissed them as village superstition. Excitement drove them. They would revive the crumbling estate, restore its glory, a less ominous version. Their first days were a blur of unpacking, hopeful blueprints, and the sounds of a family settling in. Yet, from the moment they crossed the ancient threshold, a clear wrongness filled the air. Inside Blackwood Manor, the temperature plunged, a deep, penetrating cold unlike the autumn chill, seeping into their very bones. The house felt alive, holding its breath, watching them with an ancient, unseen gaze. At first, strange things were subtle, easily dismissed. A shut door found ajar, icy drafts, like spectral breath, in sealed rooms. Faint footsteps in empty halls at night. Arthur blamed the old house settling. Eleanor glimpsed movements that vanished when she looked. James, the skeptic, scoffed, blaming overactive imaginations fed by local ghost stories. But Lily, the youngest, seemingly most attuned to the manor's unease, spoke of whispers. Soft, hissing whispers from her bedroom walls in the dead of night, sounding mournful, sometimes angry. Her parents, despite their growing unease, tried to soothe her, blaming wind, dreams, old plumbing. They were desperate not to worsen her fear or admit their own growing dread. The unease didn't fade, it focused. The attic door heavy bolted. At the end of a narrow, shadowed upstairs corridor became the center of disturbances. Night after night, in the manor's deep silence, the attic door rattled, gentle at first, then more urgent, more violent, as if something desperately clawed to break free, or perhaps to lure them in. Sleep became a tense, restless ordeal, broken by the rhythmic tremor pulsing through the old house. One stormy evening, wind shrieking like a banshee, rain battering the windows, the attics rattling grew a frantic, commanding summons. Curiosity, or the chilling realization they couldn't ignore it, overcame their fear. Armed with a heavy flashlight and growing dread, the family prepared. Arthur, leading, unbolted the attic door. It groaned open like a dying breath, unleashing air thick with dust, decay, and something more ancient, deeply unsettling. The flashlight beam cut the darkness, revealing a vast space choked with forgotten remnants. Sheet-covered furniture, cobwebbed crates, ghostly outlines of relics. At the attic center sat an old, ornate trunk, its brass fittings green with age. Beside it, against moldering books, leaned a faded portrait of a Victorian-era woman in a once white gown. Her hollow, painted eyes seemed to follow them, her mouth a silent, anguished scream. Just then, lightning flashed through a grimy window, and a figure flickered into view in the far corner. It was tall, unnaturally gaunt, in tattered, dark robes that swallowed the light. Its face, if it had one, was lost in deep shadow, a featureless void. An Arctic cold, worse than any before, radiated from it, chilling them to the core. Paralyzed by terror, the Harpers stared. The figure glided, not walked, with eerie smoothness towards them. Its presence was suffocating, a palpable wave of ancient rage and sorrow stealing their breath. Arthur's trembling flashlight beam danced wildly, the house lights already failing in the storm, died, plunging them into near-total darkness, broken only by lightning flashes. Then, a voice not heard by ears, but felt deep in their skulls, a dry, rasping whisper, cold as the grave. "You should not have come," it seethed, each word heavy with menace. "The curse is not broken, the manor remembers." Overwhelming panic seized them. The attic door, their only escape, slammed shut with a deafening crack, the bolt ramming home from the other side. Trapped, shadows writhed, contorting into grotesque shapes on the walls. The whispers Lily once heard now flooded the attic, a horrifying cacophony of screams, wails, and venomous accusations. Desperate, Arthur threw himself against the door, but it held fast, gripped by an unseen force. Eleanor and James pounded, their pleas lost to the storm and the spectral quiet. The floorboards throbbed with cold, malevolent energy. The air thickened with a putrid stench of grave dirt and decay. In the chaos, as the spectral figure advanced, its shadowy form swelling, terrified, Lily stumbled back. Her flailing hand dislodged a loose brick in the chimney. Behind it, in a small hollow, lay a small, leather-bound diary, its pages brittle and yellowed. With trembling hands, Eleanor snatched the diary. By the storm's violent flashes, she deciphered the faded, spidery script, penned in a shaky, increasingly frantic hand. It was the diary of Sarah Blackwood, dated over a century ago, the last of her line to live in the manor. Her words painted a horrifying picture of her family's terror. Nightly visits from an unseen entity, moving objects, chilling whispers, the constant, unbearable feeling of being watched. She wrote of her father's obsession with the curse, his secret attempts to contact the dead, and a final, disastrous ritual or reckless try to break the curse that instead amplified it, sealing their doom and binding true evil to the house. "If we do not flee this accursed place now," the last, blotched entry pleaded, "it will consume us all. It desires us to remain forever." As Eleanor's fear-choked voice read Sarah Blackwood's final words, the towering, robed figure shrieked a piercing, unearthly sound of such agony and rage it seemed to shake Blackwood Manor's foundations. Walls quaked, dust falling. For a moment, shadows recoiled, whispers faltered, as if stunned. In that tiny pause, Arthur, driven by adrenaline and a father's instinct to protect his family, seized the diary. With a defiant roar, he threw it towards the cold hearth at the attic's far end. Improbably, the brittle pages caught on a rusted grate. Then, as if by divine intervention, an unseen hand, a stray ember, or a final spark from the house itself, the dry paper burst into flame. Flames erupted with unnatural brightness in the gloom, devouring Sarah Blackwood's story of suffering. As the fire blazed, the spectral figure shrieked again, a cry now of agony, perhaps even release, not just rage. Its form flickered violently, like a failing projection. Then with a final, agonized spasm, it dissolved into smoke coiling up the chimney. Instantly, the oppressive weight in the attic vanished. The heavy attic door, moments before an unbreakable barrier, flew open with explosive force, slamming against the wall. The air, though still cold and dusty, no longer pulsed with active evil. The whispers stopped. Wordlessly, without hesitation, the Harpers fled. They scrambled down the attic stairs, hurtled through Blackwood Manor's dark, silent corridors, and burst into the raging storm, never looking back. They abandoned everything: aspirations, dreams, possessions, sacrificed to the desperate need to escape the house's evil grip. Today, Blackwood Manor stands forsaken, given over to the elements in its own dark history. Locals, terrified by the Harpers' tale, which spread like wildfire, say that on stormy nights, when the wind wails just so, faint, mournful screams still echo from the attic. And sometimes, if one is foolish or brave enough to look, a pale figure is said to be visible in the highest window, always staring, forever waiting. Waiting, perhaps, for new victims, naive enough to think they could calm the darkness in Blackwood Manor. Some houses are just brick and stone, but Blackwood Manor, as the Harpers terrifyingly discovered, is forged from secrets, sorrow, and a darkness time cannot erase. And some secrets, some places, are best left undisturbed, forever entombed in shadow. What do you think of the Harpers' terrifying ordeal? Ever felt a truly unsettling presence in a place? Share your thoughts and chilling experiences in the comments. If you love unsettling and unexplained tales, please like this video, subscribe for more spine-tingling stories, and hit the notification bell. You won't want to miss our next journey into the unknown.